Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 442 podcast. I'm Azar Madhani, and as always, I am joined by the wonderful Tommy Zondi.
That's me.
And unfortunately, there is no returning Tony O this week. The poor man, still stuck in preseason, has a few laptop issues, so we will be two-manning this one for the time being. Hopefully we'll have Tony back next week for the season proper. But Tommy, it's been a while. How have you been? How's your summer?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, Tony, he may still be on Teams waiting for us to join the call in a different program. And unfortunately, this was expected, right? You know, first morning back. Oh, no,
absolutely. We haven't recorded in a month and a half. And the fact that we've managed to get a recording together at all, even if we are down 33% of our... of our actual people is I think we deserve a pat on the back for that.
Yeah.
So
hey, I thought for sure, if you had to guess out of the three of us who would have issues, would you not have picked me?
It would have been you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly. The fact that it's not, it's like that's a win already for us. Let's just take that. Right?
You know what? It's good to start your season out on a high, isn't it, Tommy?
Yeah, you know, I'm thinking this is kind of be maybe how Chelsea season may go. You know, we're going to be on a high this year, maybe. Hey? But we go. Is
it going to be a high, or will it have already peaked?
You know what? I'm going to say it's like our podcast. It's going to be on a high. That's how I'm going to go. Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it. I mean, let's hop right into the transfers that have happened so far. This is going to be a bit more of a sort of preview for the season. I guess we might as well start at the top of the table. Man City, two major signings so far, and that is two Croatians. Mateo Kovacic from Chelsea, 25 million, pretty early in the window.
Yeah. And
more recently, Josko Gvardiol for, I believe, a world record fee for a defender.
That is true, yeah. He's finally usurped Maguire, or someone's finally usurped Maguire of that honor, which is maybe that takes a monkey off Maguire's shoulder, and all of a sudden he performs. Maybe he was just burdened by that the whole time. I don't know, but
based on his preseason, I don't think it's helped.
Oh yeah, he's had a rough preseason, hasn't he? Yelled at by Onana and all that stuff. Yeah, but no, going back to like you said about City. They're good signings, those two, for sure. I've always rated Kovacic. He is injury prone, so you know what, he may not have the same impact. He's 30 years old now. More injuries may hamper him, but Gvardiol is a guy that Chelsea was after last winter, right? I think we put in bids for him.
I assume you were after every single
defender, but especially Gvardiol.
There was a bid placed for Gvardiol.
So City getting him when they're already stacked back line, defensively they're going to be super solid, for sure. But the thing is, this is City's lost. Who do they lose? Gundogan, right? Mahrez.
Kovacic feels like the Gundogan replacement.
He's just not very attacking, though. Gundogan provides goals.
Yeah, Gundogan definitely more of a goal scorer, but it's more depth in midfield. Mahrez leaving, they probably need some backup on the right wing, unless they're deciding that, what's his name, Cole Palmer is the guy to do that. Or
I don't know,
one of the other youth products is coming through.
It could be.
They had a couple of decent players who were on loan at Sheffield United. I think McAtee is one of them.
Okay.
A few of them played in the Community Shield a couple of days ago, but it's pre-season. So if United aren't playing the Community Shield, I don't watch.
Yeah, I know. Are you surprised that City hasn't signed any sort of forward player? Because it's just really those two are the main guys.
I could see them if an opportunity comes in especially to replace Mahrez in the squad, because he does play a lot of games for them, and he was a big part of the squad. I could see if the opportunity comes, they could go for it, but they're also unfortunately very shrewd with their signings. They don't just splash money on anyone. When they go for a big splash, because they're like, okay, there's a Gvardiol out there that we want.
Yeah.
And I hate how much Guardiola fits their system. He's a centre back who can also play left back, and
Perfect.
Pep was rolling last season with 4 centre backs anyway, and he's unreal on the ball, and he's young. He's so young.
I know,
as well.
20, and he's had a lot of experience already. I really want him at Chelsea, so it's unfortunate that City get him. But yeah, no, I think they may still get in the market if a forward comes up. I feel like, but we'll see.
Still got a few more weeks of the window left. Let's move on from them to Arsenal. Arsenal. Tony's Arsenal. He's not here to defend them, so we can talk as much shit as we want. He will be listening to this in the post-production, and we will get an earful on WhatsApp. But what do we think of their summer signings? The main ones have been Declan Rice for £105 million from West Ham, Kai Havertz £60 million from Chelsea, and Jurrien Timber £38.5 million from Ajax.
I mean, he's not going to get any slack from me. I think those are great signings. They're really
That's
good.
the thing. I would love to shit talk them, but I do like the work they've done this summer. Declan Rice, I know he's expensive as fuck, but I don't see any way that Declan Rice is a bust. I think he's going to be brilliant for them.
I agree, yeah.
He's a fantastic player. And I really hate that because do you remember the first season we did this when Tony was miserable every single week?
Yeah, I know. We're not going to have that for a while.
He's been so happy all of last season, so content with how his team's playing, with how they're doing, and we can't have that. We can't be having that.
Even someone like Timber, who honestly he looks like he's gonna fit in Arsenal very well as well. I think he's also versatile, right? He can play maybe
right and
center back too, right? So that's exciting. The one that's getting a lot of flack, especially from other Arsenal fans, is Havertz. But I'll be honest, I love Kai. I thought he was. Yes, he had a poor season last year. Yes, we've played him at striker when he's not a striker. But he is still class. And if he can somehow fit into this Arsenal system, I think he's going to excel. And you're going to see probably why they splashed, I think it was £65 million, I believe.
60 million pounds.
60 million pounds,
I think maybe there's add-ons that can take it to 65, but I'm seeing 60.
60, yeah. I think, you know what, people may be I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Tony or someone else had him as their bust of the season, but I think he's going to come good. He's a good player, and he'll fit that.
I'm curious to see how they use him. I think if they use him like Chelsea did, it'll be a bust. Because I don't think Chelsea used him properly.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced by his finishing, but everything else, he's really fucking good. He gets himself into the positions.
He does.
He gets a lot of chances, but maybe that was just a Chelsea thing because we know what you guys do to strikers.
Oh yeah, well we'll get to Chelsea, but on top of that, they finally sold Granit Xhaka, who's gone. Sad to see.
It's weird because they didn't sell him when he was shit.
Yeah.
And he's finally good, and now he leaves. That's got to be a weird feeling for Arsenal fans. You finally come around to the guy. He has his best season in an Arsenal shirt, I think, and now he's gone. But beyond that, I think the only other major player that's leaving is apparently Ainsley Maitland-Niles left on a free transfer to Lyon. I did not know he was still there. I thought he had already left. And then Matt Turner, backup goalie,
he signed for.
I saw today he's having medicals at Forest.
That's right. Yes, Forest. That's right. I think. Yeah, you're right about that.
Which brings me to the interesting potential signing of David Raya. Competition for Ramsdale. Now, I know Ramsdale, second half of the season, his form dropped off a little bit. There were some mistakes in there. You think about the one that comes to mind immediately is the Southampton one. The little bit I saw of him in preseason, because I have not watched much of Arsenal preseason.
No, not at all.
But I saw their game against United, or I saw highlights.
Right.
And Ramsdale did not look good in that one either. Is it just competition? Who do we think is taking over that? Because I think if Raya comes in, I think he takes over.
I was surprised that because for me, I thought Ramsdale was pretty darn good. Yes, you're right. He had that kind of some poor games in the second season. So when Arsenal were linked with him and putting him in, I was like, wow, I'm surprised by that, right? Okay, because you don't sign David Raya to be a backup, right? He's too good, especially if you're going to pay. I mean, Brentford were asking 45 at some point. They're never getting that money for him. But for me, it's he comes in, he's getting games for sure. I don't know if they split it, Premier League and Cup competitions, that sort of thing. But honestly, it's a win-win for Arsenal to have two goalies like that competing to try and be better, and then
it's almost the same situation they had when they signed Ramsdale, right? Because they kept Leno for another season, and then had the competition. Ramsdale wins out, they sell Leno the following summer. You probably don't get as much as you would for selling a keeper at that point, but you get the competition out of it, and Raya is a very, very solid keeper. Before Man United got linked with Onana, Raya is the one that I wanted for us.
Yeah, he was linked with Chelsea too. I think we were definitely in front of him at some point. But honestly, if they get him, another solid. Arsenal just had a good summer, so what can you say?
It's got to be a title challenge this year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they got to not stumble in the last 10 weeks.
Oh yeah, if there's anything we can say, it's if they don't win, season's a failure. Yeah, they have to win. Yeah.
It will be interesting to see how they deal with expectations now, because last season there was no expectations going in terms of a title challenge.
Yeah.
Now you have a very solid title challenge under your belt. You're in the Champions League. There's expectations. There's something to live up to, and the signings have been good. You can see the plan of the summer. I think they've looked good preseason. They won the Community Shield.
That's right.
As we all know, that means you're going to win it all that season. Just ask Liverpool last year.
You can count it towards if you end up winning the treble. The Community Shield can count in that treble. Yeah, right? Can it? No.
Someone asked Jose Mourinho about that.
Oh yeah.
He loves the Community Shield, but you see Pep toss some sass Arsenal's way, because City have lost the last 3 Community Shields.
Yeah.
And post game, he goes in. He's just like, we've lost the last 3 of them. Congrats to Arsenal. We won the title though, and it's good to see Pep start the season with a bit of sass. We enjoy a sassy Pep conference over here, but
I was worried. Yeah. I was worried that after winning the Champions League, that he would be more, mull and just kind of relax. But good that he's still,
I don't think Pep Guardiola has ever relaxed a day in his life.
I guess when he retires, yeah.
Will he? He has the look of a man who is going to die on the job.
I don't know. With Pep, I feel like he will not be coaching when he's 65. I think he'll be retired by then. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with how intense he seems to be, I wouldn't be surprised if he just burns out by that.
Remember, he took that year off, right? Was it after Barca or after Bayern?
After Bayern.
After Bayern, yeah. So he'll burn out before that for sure. Anyways, next team.
Have him leave City soon.
Yeah, please.
It was, I believe, United were next in the table, and it has been an interesting summer because Man United are actually filling the positions that I wanted them to fill, and I'm not sure what to do with that because it's been a while since they've actively signed positions that I wanted. What do you mean we haven't signed another left winger this year?
spent 80 million on another Anthony type player. Yeah, let's do that. No, you guys. Honestly,
in fairness with Anthony, we did need a right mid. We just spent far too much on one.
Yeah. No, you're right. We were praising Arsenal. They make good signings. I think you gotta do the same with United. They've made.
So I will say, signings. United signings are a bit more high risk than Arsenal, and that's fully just down to Rasmus Højlund, £64 million.
Yeah.
He's got, like, the ceiling is sky high for him, but he's 20 years old. Like, I know everyone's going on because he only scored 9 goals for Atalanta last year.
Yeah.
His goal per minutes ratio was quite good because he was coming off the bench in a lot of that. He's looked very good for Denmark in the few international games he's played, but again, those are international games. Those are not of the same quality. There is a lot of risk, but he does seem like the exact kind of striker that Ten Hag wanted.
Yeah, the same profile.
It looks like Spurs are asking minimum of 100 mil for Kane, from everything I was reading. United, because we also signed Andre Onana for 44 million. He's so much fun to watch. It's weird seeing the ball go back to our goalie and him not immediately panic with the ball at his feet. And then we signed Mason Mount for £55 million from Chelsea.
Mason Mount, yeah. Wait, did you see when I don't know who United were playing, but I remember seeing like this goal from halfway that came over Onana.
Dallo gave the ball away, like bad pass right across the face of midfield. Someone picked it up, and there's going to be stuff like that when you have a keeper that's as aggressively out as he is. Like, that is a risk, and our defenders are going to have to learn that you can't make that you can't have that just a loose pass through the middle. Like, that can't happen when your goalie is this aggressive. You can do that when De Gea is there because he's glued to his line.
And De Gea is gone now too, completely.
It's genuinely weird seeing someone else in goal.
I bet.
Like, it was time for us to move on. Part of me is still sad because in the post-Fergie years until 2018, he was our best player, like, for 4 or 5 seasons in there.
Yeah.
But time to move on. But Højlund, Mount, Onana are the 3 major signings. Striker, goalkeeper, and a midfielder, like an upgrade on Eriksson, who basically just can't play 90 minutes anymore.
So I heard that I think you guys are after, I'm trying to think of the name, Amrabat, I believe, is the other player. I don't know if you're still in
that seems to be contingent on players going out. So far we have sold Anthony Elanga, got 15 million for him, which is, I think, pretty solid business on our end. Alex Telles, David De Gea, Phil Jones is
the end of Phil Jones. The end of
it's the end of Phil Jones. Like, Axel Tuanzebe is gone, and then a few like more youth team kind of players have moved on as well. But the big ones that are currently in the worst to leave are Maguire and McTominay. The talk is, sorry, just while I choke on camera briefly.
Once you mention Maguire, all of a sudden coughing fit. You know, is that a coincidence?
I've talked so much shit about him that my body's just having its first reactions to even saying his name.
Oh, that's too good.
I think the ask right now is because they're negotiating with West Ham for both of them. West Ham had a 60 million combined bid for the two turned down, but the discussions have not ended. If we somehow manage to get 70 million for McTominay and Maguire from West Ham, that is, I will have to assume that's David Moyes doing us a favor for the horrible job he did back in 2013.
Honestly, for 60, I would have taken it. Like,
I would have probably taken it.
Yeah, like, come on.
So I think they're trying to get some value back on Maguire's contract. If they bid like 30, 35 for Maguire, I would take it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Like, I would have taken less, but seems like what their thing is, they're just like, look, this is how much we want. We don't have to get rid of these players, because the thing is, if we get rid of Maguire, we do have to go back.
You need to find someone, first. Of course.
Yeah, we need a fourth centre back.
Yeah.
So that seems to be the main thing where they're. I think if this bid had come early in the summer, if West Ham hadn't waited until August, a 30 million bid would have gotten him easy.
Oh, West Ham have had the worst, honestly, the worst.
We'll get to them in a bit, but I think the talk is that Ten Hag would like to keep McTominay just as like a backup option in midfield.
Why not?
But if like someone puts in a 40 million bid, he's not going to say no to that because you can reinvest that.
Definitely.
I don't think any of our other players are linked away at this point. It's those two major ones, and Fred and Donny van de Beek are also being linked away. There's been a lot of talk around Fred. Fulham were in for him at some point. Some Saudi teams
Deadline
were, of
day.
course, sniffing around.
Yeah, that screams deadline day deal of someone getting Fred.
You know what really screams a deadline day deal is West Ham panicking and being like, "We'll give you 80 million for Maguire and McTominay."
Yeah. Oh, you like
Let me dream.
Know,
Let me dream.
Spending all the Rice money on those two players. That's what they do. It's totally West Ham. Yeah.
It is the most West Ham way to do it.
Oh boy.
But yeah, no, it's been solid signings for United. If Rasmus Højlund hits, if he ends up developing, it won't be this season. If in a couple of seasons Højlund develops into the type of player his potential indicates he could be, this could be an unreal summer. Also, I'm very happy you guys sold Mount to us because he is his off-ball work in midfield, fucking phenomenal.
I was going to ask because like I've been hearing a lot of stuff from United fans how he's been crap all preseason.
His finishing has been crap.
His finishing, it's just finishing. Okay,
that is something that you guys seem to be doing a lot of. Like this is just you gotta get the Chelsea stink off him.
Yeah, hopefully that'll.
I'm not gonna mount him on a pedestal yet. But
there's our pun. Perfect.
There it is. First one of the season has to be a United one. His work on the ball is very good. His work off the ball is even better because he's so good at pressing. He's very good at leading that, and that's what we kind of needed because we've got a lot of energy in midfield with Bruno, but Eriksen, he just doesn't have the legs to do it for 90 minutes. You'd see it, especially towards the end of the season, once he got that ankle injury, he would get gassed in the second half of every game. So being able to bring Eriksen on as like, oh, we need a bit more creativity, get Eriksen on there. It's nice. It's nice. We've been a solid preseason. Solid summer for United. And that brings us to Newcastle in the Champions League. In the Champions League. Two major signings. Sandro Tonali from AC Milan and Harvey Barnes from Leicester City.
Tonali's definitely the big one out of that. And they spent a good chunk of, 55 million pounds?
Yeah, there's 38 million pounds on Harvey Barnes. He wasn't cheap either.
Yeah, but Barnes kind of, like, he's not really like, I don't know, it doesn't scream like marquee signing. Do you know what I mean? He's kind of like a guy that's just like a workhorse that's, you're going to get from him. Yeah,
I think Barnes is going to be unreal.
But he fits them very well. Do you know what I mean? Like, because they sold Saint-Maximin, who is...
That does make me sad. Because he's so much fun.
I loved watching him play. I know, right?
Like, that was the one thing where I was just like, I don't really like Newcastle very much, but I like Saint-Maximin. He was the one thing that made them watchable under Steve Bruce.
It's and he went to Saudi Arabia too. Which is unfortunate because that means I'm never going to see him play. I'm never going to watch that. But in terms of the couple signs they have, Tonali should really help their midfield, especially with depth now, and Barnes helps just big time on the wings in terms of consistency. I think Newcastle for me is a very curious team this year because they definitely overperformed last season. And now with the added layer,
is their defense gonna be able to keep that many clean sheets again in the first half of the season?
Yeah, the added layer of Champions League now too, right? Will they still perform the same level in the Premier League? I don't know.
Yeah.
I
mean, I don't think they lost anyone else other than Saint-Maximin. At least, I mean, they lost Chris Wood.
Oh,
but
that's a good loss. It's a very good loss, actually.
Matty Longstaff has moved on as well.
Yeah, I think was it Carl Darlow was sold to Leeds. I think, right? Yeah.
There's not too much in terms of losses. Like other than Saint-Maximin, who wasn't even playing for them. by the end of the season. Like, he barely got in the team.
Oh,
So
but we're missing one. They signed Livermento from Southampton, actually.
Oh, okay. I guess
Yes.
that just hasn't been finalized yet.
So
It's not showing up on the Guardian page that
No,
I'm looking at. So
yeah.
I guess it just hasn't been officially
maybe not
announced.
officially announced, but
That is interesting because he was a huge prospect at Southampton until he tore his ACL, I want to say.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, he was at Chelsea. He was huge, right? And then we sold him to Southampton. But he has a lot of ups. So he's still like, I can't say him being a starter because he has still Trippier, right? So for me, just like more depth, especially with them being in the Champions League. So for me, it's another good signing, and they spent a lot of money on him. I think I'm going to say £40 million too. I think.
Well, Southampton have, even despite getting relegated, they are not budging on a price for anyone. Because, we'll talk about, I mean, I guess
we can go to
we might as well move on. Yeah, let's move on to Liverpool. Because they have been chasing after Romeo Lavia, and Southampton are just not budging from whatever £50 million valuation they have on him. Liverpool are dealing with this the way United deal with transfers, and it's weird to see them do this because normally they're quick, they're decisive with their transfers. Yep. But with Lavia, they bid 40 million. No, they bid 45 million. I'm like, this is, if you want him, you're gonna have to pay 50 million. Anyone can see this. Southampton clearly don't have to sell for finances right now.
Yeah.
But they have brought in Dominic Szoboszlai for 60 million from RB Leipzig, and Alexis McAllister, absolute steal, 35 million from Brighton.
That's the thing about Liverpool.
That's a ridiculously low release clause that they had on him, considering how much they're trying to extort from you for Moises Caicedo. They're asking 100 million for Caicedo. This is why they're asking 100 million for Caicedo.
I know,
we got to get that McAllister money.
But like Liverpool, you spent 35 million on McAllister. You know what I mean? That's a steal. You can spend what you probably would have had to spend for him. Give it to Lavia. Give it to Southampton. You know what I mean? Like, just here's the theme that I've seen is like, if you're bidding anywhere close to what the team's valuation is, the team is going to deny it. So just pay up. Just pay up what they're asking. You know what I mean? Like, look at with like Mount and look at with Havertz. You know what I mean? Eventually, the valuation is met. With Kane, it's the same thing with Bayern. Bayern are bidding lower than what Tottenham wants. They're not going to accept because you're so close that they know that if you really want them, you're going to pay the full price. And the same thing with Southampton, right? Why budge when you know that Liverpool will eventually pay full for him? Just do it right away. Why just take... I hate how these sagas take forever. And you hear, like you said, 40, 42, 45 plus. I don't know. It's like, just pay the money. Like with us, with Caicedo, it's like, if we really want the guy, instead of waiting to the deadline day to spend 100 million for him, just do it now. Or just find someone else. Go move on. Like, it's just
Chelsea needs to learn to walk away from Brighton.
Walk away. Yeah.
They've scammed you too many times. You need to stop doing this.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
But the thing with Liverpool is they've lost Fabinho, they've lost Jordan Henderson. They don't really have a defensive midfielder in the squad. Who's gonna right now? Who's slated to play there? Is it Bajcetic? I don't know how to pronounce his name.
You're right. But that's
he was
guy.
good last season, but I don't know if he's a number 6. They lost Firmino. They've lost... Who else have they lost? James Milner.
Yeah.
Naby Keita. Oxlade-Chamberlain. I forgot Oxlade-Chamberlain was still there. They've lost a lot of depth from the squad.
And they've only signed 2 players.
Replacing Fabinho has to be the big one. I mean, Szoboszlai and McAllister are both excellent players. They're both great, but neither is a defensive midfielder. They're both more number 8s to more attacking. But I don't know. It's interesting. If they sign a defensive midfielder, I think they'll be good. If they don't sign a defensive midfielder, I don't know what they're gonna. I think it's gonna be very similar to the sort of like early Klopp years where it was just a lot of back and forth. You get a lot of high scoring games because their attack looks as deadly as ever.
Right, because Jota and is back fit, Diaz is back fit, right? So it's like their attack is set. You'd think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gakpo looked good towards the end of the season.
Yeah.
You have another summer for Nunez to settle in.
Yeah.
Salah is
Salah
Salah.
is
He
Salah.
is what he is.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Liverpool are a very, very interesting team this summer. Like they're one of those that like another signing or two really pushes them over the edge.
Which I feel will happen. I feel it will.
So I think they'll eventually pay the fee for Lavia.
For sure. Oh, I agree too. But the thing is this, like, yes, he was good, but is he ready to be a starter for Liverpool in that position? I don't know.
He's young. He'll make mistakes, but the talent is there.
Yeah. They definitely need midfielders, and there's some depth there, and I agree. That'll be one signing. Whether they make another one, we'll see, but they're definitely not done.
Lavia would fall into similar category as like a Højlund signing. It's not necessarily like you won't get the best of him this season, but long term, if he hits,
long
he's
term,
gonna be really good.
Long term for sure, yeah.
Who do we got next?
Should we do Chelsea?
Let's talk Spurs.
Spurs?
No,
all right, Spurs.
Spurs finished above you. We'll get to Chelsea.
All
right. Spurs. Actually, we should talk Villa before Spurs.
Okay. Villa.
Let's do Villa. Let's do Villa because they have made some splashy signings. Moussa Diaby, £51.9 million pounds from Bayer Leverkusen. Pau Torres, £33 million from Villarreal, and Yuri Tielemans on a free transfer from Leicester. That's a team that wants to keep that European spot.
I mean, they're all great signings in my opinion. Defense, midfield, and a forward, like all around. So for me,
I'm gonna be honest with Tielemans. I'm like, how much is he gonna give a shit? Because that was my issue with him at Leicester. He's a great player, but sometimes he just looks like he doesn't give a shit. I mean,
come on, he was at Leicester, who were in a freaking relegation battle, and then at least towards the end, you could see his performance got a bit better. But I think he'll be good. I think Pau Torres is going to be unreal for them because he's worked under Emery before. He knows exactly what Emery wants. Yeah. And Diaby is exciting. Can he stay fit? If he can stay fit, he'll probably be good. Otherwise, it's just Leon Bailey 2.0. That's what I mean. There's a question mark there, like with that for sure. But no, like for me, I think Tony was saying, what was it last season? He's like, oh yeah, Villa, watch the fall on Emery. They're going to struggle this season. It's going to go back to his old ways. But like for me, you look at the team, how they performed last season, and then you add in this quality here, and they've gotten rid of. They finally got rid of Ashley Young, who won't be playing for them anymore.
Ashley Young was not terrible for them, considering he's 35. He was not terrible. That's it. I thought he was older than that. Filling in at right back.
But no, like for me, like I definitely feel like Villa will have a good season again. So yeah, we'll see.
They definitely have the feel of a team that wants to stay up there. Like they're not just oh, we got Europe once, we're gonna like back off. They're like oh, we've got Europe, this is our chance to step on the gas, try to really build on this. So it's gonna be exciting to watch them, and it's astonishing that 12 months ago this team was being managed by Steven Gerrard.
Stevie G, yeah, crazy.
Truly one of your best call-outs.
Feels like
let you forget.
Feels like a lifetime ago, honestly. Even then, you just said 12 months. That's it. Honestly, it feels so much longer. But yeah, he's out in. What is he out coaching in Saudi Arabia right now? He's
off in Saudi as well. Oh yeah, we neglected to mention that Jordan Henderson went out to Saudi Arabia, and after you say everything that he said in support of the LGBTQ community, to really just fight, it's just spit in their faces to do that. And you saw the announcement video that whatever fucking club he went to, where they had him in all the different kits, but the armband, which is normally a rainbow colored one, was always just blacked out. And yeah, well, hey, hope the money helps you sleep at night.
Money
Jordan
will win out every time, apparently. So
because Liverpool were paying him so badly.
I know, right? Yeah, whatever.
Right, let's quickly move along to Spurs. Ange Postecoglou is in, and I really like him because he's fun in press conferences and his football seems to be fun as well. It's been a while since I've actually liked a Spurs manager.
I've not.
He seems like a decent guy. Like, he's good in press conferences. He doesn't take shit from people. They have signed James Maddison for $40 million. Pedro Porro is now permanent. Dejan Kulusevski is now permanent. I'm not going to try to pronounce your first name, but Vicario, Italian goalkeeper. Guglielmo?
I don't know.
If anyone knows how to pronounce this, please let me know. He's been signed from Empoli. He's likely to be their number one because the talk is that Hugo Lloris might leave.
I thought, wait, Lloris hasn't left yet? Lloris hasn't left yet?
He has not officially left yet.
I thought for sure
the players that have left have been Harry Winks for $10 million, Lenglet's loan has ended, Danjuma's loan has ended, and Lucas Moura on a free.
They also signed, officially as of today, Mickey Van de Ven, the defender.
Center back, right?
Center back, yeah, which is also, honestly, a pretty good signing.
They did need center backs.
It's a pretty good signing for them. So they've actually done some good business this window. So they're back in their manager. And is this them spending potential Harry Kane money early, before the sale goes in? Is it kind of like what they did with Bale? You know what I mean?
That's the thing. Yeah. That's the thing. We've listed all these transfers. None of them matter. None of them matter. It's Kane that matters. That's the only thing. Is he, like... If he wanted to leave, he'd be gone by now. Like, Kane needs to make a decision here. Because if Kane tells Levy, he's like, I'm out, they'll accept it, I think.
Oh, if Bayern matches the valuation, then I think they accept. It's just a matter of just holding off the evaluation, which I think will happen. I think this is just a sign of Tottenham spending the money, doing what West Ham should have done, is spend and buy the players first before everyone knows that you have 100 million sitting in the bank, and then after you look at your targets, and then everyone charges you an outrageous amount, and then you can't buy anyone, and you overpay everyone, like you do potentially with Maguire, right? So Tottenham actually doing it the smart way, and then I firmly believe that Kane will go to Bayern come deadline day. I do think so, and this is just the.
I think if that gets done, it gets done this week. Otherwise, it's not happening.
It's just with sort of the Bayern, right? You feel like they usually do really good business and smart business, and the way they're kind of handling this themselves, it just maybe it just shows you how bad the transfer or the striker window is, where it's just like you have to do this with Kane.
There's no one cheap. There's no one cheap on the striker market.
Yeah.
But we finally can move on to your Chelsea. Let's
here
see
we
who
go.
they brought in. They brought in Christopher Nkunku for £51 million, Axel Disasi for £38.7 million, Nicholas Jackson for £32 million, Robert Sanchez for £25 million, Leslie Ugochukwu for £23.5 million, Angelo Gabriel for £12.9 million, and Diego Moreira for free. Oh, Diego Moreira is probably going to be in the youth team. But on the other hand, they have also sold Kai Havertz for £60 million, Mason Mount for £55 million, Mateo Kovacic for £25 million, Kalidou Koulibaly for £20 million, Christian Pulisic for £17.1 million, Edouard Mendy for £16 million, Ruben Loftus-Cheek for £15 million, Ethan Ampadu for £7 million, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang on a free, David Dasher Fofana has been loaned out, Abdul Rahman Baba, my beautiful, beautiful boy, finally gone on a free, Cesar Azpilicueta on a free, N'Golo Kante on a free. This list is still going because you've just released a bunch of youth players as well. And Tiamu Bakayoko also released on a free.
Oh, that was long. That was a long list, eh?
I am out of breath.
The list.
I mean, you've already broken Nkunku, so...
Yeah, so sad news this morning.
Three to 4 months, apparently.
Knee surgery. He's not going to be back until Christmas time. So we're missing him for half the season. And that is... Honestly, I think that means we're going back into the market for a forward. I do think so. And
Dusan Vlahovic, maybe? There is still talks about you want to swap Lukaku. Lukaku is still there. And let's briefly talk about the mess that Romelu Lukaku has made of his summer. Because Inter would have signed him. They would have absolutely signed him until he started flirting with Juventus. And because he did that, Inter are like, why would we spend this much money on you if you don't want to be here? We don't have that much money. And now Lukaku's stuck because Juventus are like, okay, Chelsea are like, we want another striker, we want Vlahovic, and Juve is like, we'll take Lukaku, but we also want 40 million euros.
Lukaku is an idiot because he I don't know if you
Tell us
remember.
how you really feel.
I don't know if you remember, but he wrote like an Instagram like love letter to Inter. I don't know if you remember that. Literally, the source or the rumor is that literally the next day he's negotiating with Juve to sign. Literally the next day, and honestly,
Why
like,
can't I find a good man anymore? There's no good strikers there anymore. No one's loyal.
I know. We've been pushing him. By we have Chelsea, we've been pushing him to sign for Saudi Arabia. He does not want to go there. I think he's dead set on Juve. I do think that will happen. I can't see him staying with us because he's not going to play. He's not going to train with us. I do think he will get the Juve. Whether we get Vlahovic in a return package, I don't know. With Nkunku being injured, I think now we may actually push for that and may actually pay that money that Juve is asking on top of Lukaku. So I can see that being accelerated this week maybe and happening. It's just unfortunate for us because he looked really good this whole preseason. Chelsea as a whole, I know you don't follow preseason at all. I know just shut off. But it's an interesting turnaround in Chelsea's time right now with Pochettino.
Got to see what Poch looks like.
And it's looked really good. And I've been really impressed with, especially with Nico Jackson. I've been really impressed with him. And
I think they've done a very good job getting younger, because there is a lot of the guys that they got rid of were like Kovacic, 30 now. I mean, he's gone to City, so he'll probably be good. Like, he can still do a job, but you get younger at the position. Koulibaly was a fucking disaster.
And we got bailed out. Yeah,
was not. Yeah. Mendy, he was great for like 18 months and then just cratered. So Sanchez is interesting. He's got a lot of mistakes in him, but he's very good on the ball.
The Sanchez signing just screams to me like Chelsea were clearly after Onana as well. You guys won that with there. It just means like I think we were definitely wanting a goalie, but we could not find the number one starter this summer. So the Sanchez kind of coming in gives Kepa a little competition, and then we're probably in for a keeper, I'm assuming, next summer. But like you said, Thiago Silva is like 38, and then I think like it goes down to like 25 is the next stage. It's a huge gap. Our players are
it's very well, that's the profile that Pochettino likes working with, right? He likes working with younger players, which is why like PSG was such a disaster for him. But I don't know, it's interesting. Quick look around the league. What other major signings have been made?
Brighton have done business.
Burnley signed the England under-21 keeper, who was ridiculous at the Euros. Brighton always doing good business. João Pedro from Watford is interesting because he showed flashes. Then Bart Verbruggen is to play in net. Igor Julio, Mahmoud Dahoud from Dortmund. And James Milner, who is
a little experience in there too. Yeah,
depth.
Interesting.
Yeah, a bit of depth now that they're in Europe. And I mean, they're still net positive on the window because of their sales. So
and more after we sign Caicedo.
If you sign Caicedo, I think they'll go back into the market to strengthen in midfield.
For me, the signing of the summer, I'll just say right now, if you look at Everton's signings. They have got Ashley Young on a free. That is the signing of the summer right there. Everton.
Hey. Yeah. Oh, he's 38. Yeah, you were right. Yeah. I was wrong with 35. Jesus Christ. That's interesting.
Why are Everton so bad in the transfer market? Like, how are they not signing anyone? Like, come on, guys.
Yeah, that's fucking grim. That is grim. But I mean, most of it, other than Burnley, I don't think any of the newly promoted teams have gone crazy like Forest did last summer. Even Forest have been like relatively quiet.
Yeah,
it's Anthony Elanga and now I think Matt Turner from Arsenal are the only real major signings. Like Chris Wood was already there last season on loan. Ola Aina was already there last season as well.
They did release Lingard. They released a bunch of players too. Yeah.
I mean, what a disaster of a move that was for Lingard.
Terrible.
But bet on himself and fucking lost. But let's get into our some predictions. I have Tony's as well in front of me.
Okay.
So Tommy, I'll start with you. I'll go mine, and then I'll go over Tony's. So let's start from the top. Who do you think is going to win the title?
Arsenal. And if they don't win, it'll be a disaster season. It's a failure season if they don't win. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not betting against Pep. I can't bet against Pep.
I can't blame you. Yeah.
I'll go Man City for the title, and yeah, but this will be a stick to beat Tony with. If it doesn't come true, Tony's also gone for Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean,
this is Tony O with some hope, with some expectation.
Did he choose Arsenal last year? I can't remember. No, you got right. I think we all chose City.
I think we all chose City.
Okay.
Last year it was very obvious. This year, I can see the argument for Arsenal.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not yet willing to bet against Pep. Top four, other than Arsenal. Who else you got up there?
Song. I'll do it in order. Arsenal first. I have United finishing second. I have City third and Liverpool fourth.
I'm not comfortable with how much you're betting against Pep. You think United are going to finish above City?
I'll tell you, I think City are going to have a less than stellar season this year. I do think so. I think after winning the treble, there's going to be a bit of a drop and a bit of a low. Well, some motivation lost in some players. They haven't signed.
We can only fucking hope. I think I've just been beaten into submission by Pep at this point.
Yeah. I do think so. That's my thinking this year. How about you?
I have gone Arsenal to finish second, United to finish third, Liverpool to finish fourth. So not that dissimilar. It's the same top four as you. Yeah. And Tony has gone Arsenal, of course, City second, Liverpool third, United fourth. So we all have the same top four teams finishing up there. And I guess that brings us to the teams getting relegated.
Yeah, for me, I think I had the two promoted teams in Sheffield United and Luton. And then I think I have Wolves joining them this year. They have not really done anything that's inspired me to say they're not getting relegated. I want to say Everton, but I feel like Everton will just escape. They just find a way to escape. And I don't know if Wolves can do that this year.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be really fucking boring because I have the exact same teams as you.
I mean, it's hard not to. I know.
It's like, look, I think Sheffield United are going to finish bottom of the league.
Yeah.
I don't... Yeah. Their best two players were two players who were on loan from City last year. And it's just... nothing about them inspires any confidence. Nope. They feel like a team that's going right back down. Luton, they've got an interesting home ground. If a newly promoted team can be good at home, they might escape. But I don't know if there's enough quality in the squad.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wolves just look like they lost Ruben Neves to Saudi Arabia. They lost João Moutinho. They've lost Raúl Jimenez. I guess he wasn't great last couple of seasons anyway, but it's not like anyone else on their team scores goals either.
Yeah.
They don't look good.
No.
Tony has Wolves, just like us.
Yeah.
Sheffield United, just like us. And Bournemouth.
Oh, interesting.
So, thankfully, someone has come up with something slightly different.
Okay, yeah. I mean, not a bad shout.
Golden Boot.
Yeah. Haaland.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, Tony's also gone Haaland, and so have I.
Yeah. Easy pick.
Player of the season.
Because I have Arsenal winning, I'm picking Arsenal player, and I was going between Odegaard or Saka. I'm gonna go Saka. I think Saka's gonna be a player this season this year.
I went boring and I just went with Haaland again.
He could score 30, 40 goals again.
Pep makes me sad.
Yeah, easy.
Pep does make me sad. Tony went for Odegaard. So
okay, yeah.
you and him have been very much on the same wavelength for these.
Yeah. We both.
Your best signing.
Best signing for me, it's Declan Rice. I think he's gonna like you said, he's a great player, and he just fits. He'll be from the get go. He should fit in that squad, and I think he's gonna be what helps Arsenal win the title. So, for me, it's Declan Rice.
I wrote Andre Onana for mine because I don't think United are gonna win the title, but I think the way that Onana is gonna change how they play is gonna be the most transformational signing of the season.
Okay.
It might not show up on the stat sheet as much as some other signings might, but I think just the way he's going to allow Ten Hag to play the way he wants, and he's going to allow United to play more like a modern top side. He is my shout. Tony has gone for Kai Havertz.
Okay, so Tony is also in the big believer in Havertz. Okay,
he's a big believer. I think he's been yelling it from the rooftops as soon as they signed him. Worst signing. Who do you have?
I really want to say Mount, because I just want him to be the worst signing for going to United. But I do think that because I think United are going to have a really good season.
You guys drove him out.
I know. Hey,
all the shit that Chelsea were doing.
I love
They
the guy.
drove him out.
For me, I'm going to go with Tonali. I think he's a good player. He's a great player. I think he may not settle well in Newcastle, just in this hunch. And I think with the money they spent,
and he was forced out of Milan. Like, he did not want to leave.
He did not want to go. Yeah, so that's my pick there. Big money who may not settle.
So I feel bad about this because it has since come out that he got hurt. But I did go for Nkunku. This is who I put down. Off to a good start, I guess, for me. But I do feel bad now that he's clearly hurt.
Yeah.
So.
And he looks so good.
Well.
Before.
Yeah, he did look good in preseason too. But something about forwards at Chelsea.
It's
especially
a safe
ones
bet.
who play through the middle.
It's just a safe bet, yeah.
You guys have made enough signings. I just pick one of them. It's just like last season all over it again. Tony has gone for Alexis McAllister. And I'm really curious as to the reasoning behind this.
Yeah,
and
that's interesting.
He's not here to tell us that.
That's interesting, yeah.
That is something that we will have to ask him.
He would have been my pick for also one of the best signings, if I'm being honest. Yeah.
I no, that's the thing. This is the first time I've heard someone shit on the McAllister signing. So, any Liverpool fans listening to this, message Tony, see what's up.
Yeah, please do.
Your first manager sacked.
Oh, this was easy for me. I just looked at who was Sheffield United's manager, and when I found out it was Paul Heckingbottom, I'm like, oh, for sure. You know what I mean? That done. It writes itself.
See, weirdly, I think because Sheffield United have had such a bad summer, they're going to be like, no, we think we are going down. We're just going to take our parachute payments. We're going to cut costs this year, get the money, and then try to come back up. Pull a Norwich,
Okay.
So they might not sack him. They might be like, no, he can get us back up.
Okay.
Think Burnley the first time they got promoted, and they kept Dyche despite going down, and he got them back up, and then they stayed.
Yeah, okay, fair point.
I think that's what they're going for.
Fair point, yeah.
I've gone with Julien Lopetegui, Wolves coach, because there's some talk that he might even just leave. He's not happy with how their summer has gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either.
There's a lot of similar vibes to like what was going on with Tuchel last year at Chelsea.
Okay.
Where he's just not happy start of the summer, except Tuchel got signings and Lopetegui's gotten like nothing.
Okay. No.
Tony's also gone with Lopetegui.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. No, you guys make good points.
Let's see how this pans out.
I mean, I also wanted to say, because of how poorly West Ham have done in this summer for in terms of transfers, I wanted to say, they'd sign like Maguire and McTominay, and then they'd sack Moyes after a poor start, after he gets the players he wants. I wanted to say Moyes.
The thing is, I weirdly think Maguire and McTominay would do okay at West Ham.
Very well. Could
they play a deep line. They love sitting back.
They fit his profile.
That's good for Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
They like having high energy athletes in midfield. That's McTominay.
Oh yeah, McTominay is a tank.
McTominay can pop up with a few goals now and then as well. Like, he's got a good shot on him. Like, it'd basically be like, oh well, let's get Souček but faster.
Anything's faster than Souček.
Pretty much, but well,
there we go.
Season's back. We're back. Well, 2/3 of us are back. Hopefully Tony gets his laptop sorted out by next week. But until then, thank you. Oh, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at 442. Twitter. Am I allowed to still call it Twitter now? I'm going to keep calling it Twitter.
Please don't call it
Who's
X
going to call it
whatever
X?
It's called. That's so dumb.
Sort your shit out, Elon, you large man-child. But follow us on Instagram and Twitter at 442. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. We are back for another season. Thank you so much for joining me, Tommy.
Hey, I needed this to really get that feeling that we are back, because
I'm ready for the season to start.
Now I'm ready. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So good to be back.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.